All right, we gotta start reviewing for our test. Let's talk about trapezoids. One interesting part of trapezoids is that as long as I have the parallel sides up and down, going horizontal, now the two angles on the left side must add up to 180. That also know that the two angles on the right side must add up to 180. So the way I'm going to solve for x here first, let me solve for x. I'm going to add those two angles. I'm going to go that 125x plus 3 plus 53x minus 1. I'm adding the two angles, and it is equal to 180. All right, on the left side, let me combine like terms. 125 plus 53, that gives me 178. So I have the 178x. Then 3 minus 1, that gives me 2. This is equal to 180. Let me subtract 2 on each side. So 178x equals 178. Let me divide by the number in front of the x. I get that x is equal to 1. If I was solving for x equals 1, I'm done. Then the instructions here are find the measurement of angle T. I'm going to use the value of x. I see angle T is 125x plus 3. So I'm just going to go 125 times 1 plus 3. I know 125 times 1 equals 125 plus 3 gives me 128. I have to do the multiplication first. Okay, now let's take a look at number 18. I'm going to solve for x first. I'm going to add angles T and S. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to go 15x minus 20 minus 30 plus 8x equals 180. Those two angles add up to 180. Now, on the left side, let me simplify by combining like terms. 15 plus 8 is 23, so it gives me 23x. Negative 20 and a negative 30, that gives me negative 50. This is equal to 180. To get the x by itself, let me move the negative 50 as a plus 50. So that gives me that 23x equals 230. Let me divide by the number in front of the x. So x is equal to 10. Now, if I was solving for x equals 10, I'm done. However, the instructions are find the measurement of angle S. I see angle S is negative 30 plus 8x. So I'm just going to go negative 30 plus 8 times 10. I have to do the multiplication first. So I have that negative 30 plus 80. Negative 30 plus 80 is 50. So my answer in this case would be 50. Now let's take a look at parallelograms. Now, parallelograms, when the measurement is outside, I'm dealing with sides. So here, the numbers are outside, I'm dealing with sides. I'm dealing with my two sides. On a parallelogram, it says find the measurement indicated in each parallelogram. On parallelogram, the two sides that are parallel are also the same length. So let me solve for x first by letting each side equal each other. So I'm going to say that 2x plus 4 equals 3x minus 5. Let me separate them through the equal sign. Let me move the smallest x. This negative 5, let me move it over as a plus 5. So I have that 9 is equal to 1x. I know the value of x now. The instructions are find KL, the segment KL. If you notice, KL is 3x minus 5. So I'm going to go 3 times 9 minus 5. I'm using the value of x now. I know 3 times 9 is 27. And 27 minus 5 is 22. Let's take a look at question number 20. Here I'm dealing with angles. These two angles are opposite from each other, so they're equal to each other. So I'm going to say that 8x plus 4 equals 7x plus 16. Let me move the smallest x, and let me move this 4 over. So I have that 1x is equal to 12. The instructions here are find the measurement of angle U. We can see U is 8x plus 4. So I'm just going to go 8 times 12 plus 4. I know 8 times 12 is 96. And 96 plus 4 is 100. So solve for x and then use the value of x. Remember, opposite angles are equal to each other. So I'm going to start doing that here in question number 21. Angles U and S are opposite from each other. So I'm just going to say that 6x plus 8 equals 7x minus 2. I'm going to separate them through the equal sign. Let me move the 6x over. Let me move this negative 2 over. So I have that 10 is equal to 1x. So I know the value of x. Now, the instructions here are find the measurement of angle t. I don't see anything for angle t, but I can solve for angle s. I know angle s is 7 times x, so 7 times 10 minus 2. I know that's 70 minus 2, so angle s is 68. I'm going to use this to solve for angle t. I know that two angles that are next to each other, we call those adjacent, they happen to add up to 180. So for me to find out how big angle T is, I'm going to go 180 minus 68. That's 112. So this is equal to 112. I knew that angle T and S needed to add up to 180. So if I knew one of them was 68, I just went 180 minus 68. And that's how I solved that angle T is 112. All right, let's take a look at number 22 now. Let me solve for x first. I notice that two angles are adjacent. So the way I'm going to solve for x, I'm going to add them up. 17x plus 4 plus 7x plus 8 equals, and then it's going to equal to 180. Right? They don't equal each other. They add up to 180. On the left side, let me combine like terms. 17x plus 7x, that gives me 24x. 4 plus 8, that gives me 12. This is equal to 180. Let me subtract 12. So I have that 24x equals 168. Let me divide by 24. X equals 7. Now that I know the value of x, the instructions here are find the measurement of angle W. I want to know how much is 17 times 7 plus 4. I know 17 times 7 is 119. Plus 4 is 123. So solve for x and then plug it in. Now, in your homework, you're also going to be dealing with kites. Let me zoom out here. I don't have a kite there. But let's talk about kites. One thing I know about kites is that these two sides on the top are equal. And another thing I know about kites is these two at the bottom are equal. Not all four, just the two at the top and the two at the bottom. When it comes to angles, if this angle here at the side is, I don't know, let's say 80, this other angle here at the side is also 80. The one on the top and the bottom are different, but at least those two at the side are equal. Another thing that I know, let me draw another kite here. Another interesting thing is with the diagonals. My diagonals in the center, any corner in the center is 90 degrees. My diagonals are perpendicular. So any corner that I look at is 90 degrees. My diagonals cut my my kite into 4 triangles. If I give you one angle, let's say I was to say this angle right here is 50, you can find another angle there and focus on one triangle only. You know 2 angles. You can find a third angle. The way I'm going to find the third angle, I'm going to add the 2 that I have, 90 and 50, subtract that from 180 because all 3 add up to 180. I'm going to say this angle on the top is 40. Remember, my kite is separated into 4 triangles. The cool thing is that on the other side, I'm going to get 40 as well, and then 50 as well. I have 2 triangles that are the same thing. Now, let's say at the bottom, let's say this angle at the bottom was 30. I want you to focus on one triangle at the bottom. You know 2 angles, 30 and 90. If you add those 2 angles, 30 and 90 is 120. Subtract that from 180. It gives you this bottom corner is 60. And the funny thing is that I'm also going to have 30, 60, 90 here. My angles on the top and the bottom were cut in half. You notice 40, 40, 60, 60. My angles at the side were not quite cut in half, but they repeat. Notice how 50 and 30 are on both sides. That's the cool thing about angles on a kite.